My wife slammed her coffee mug down at breakfast and said, "Someone's been leaving dolls in our yard." "What?" I said, looking up from my laptop. "Dolls? Like Barbies?" our son asked, still chewing his cereal. "No," Joyce said. Her voice was shaky. "Little handmade dolls, arranged in scenes. Someone's been putting them out there at night." I frowned. "Probably just neighborhood kids messing around." "Kids don't do this," Joyce insisted. She pulled out her phone. "Look at these." She showed me photos. 5 small dolls positioned around a tiny cardboard table. Their faces were blank except for black stitched X's for eyes and red slashes for mouths. 1 blonde adult doll, 1 brown-haired adult, 2 smaller child dolls. My son leaned over to look. "Jesus, they look like us." "That's what I'm saying," Joyce said. "And look at this one from yesterday." The next photo showed the dolls arranged differently. The adult dolls stood at what looked like a small cardboard counter, one holding a tiny cup. The child doll sat at the table with miniature bowls. The blonde doll's head was twisted backward while its body faced forward. "That's our breakfast yesterday," my son said quietly. "Dad was getting coffee. You were at the stove. Me and Abby were eating." Abby clutched my arm and cried out, "Someone's watching us? I'm calling the police," I said, reaching for my phone. "Wait," Joyce said. "There's more." She scrolled to another photo. The dolls were arranged on our actual porch this time. The child dolls were lying face down. The parent dolls stood over them, arms raised, holding tiny red-painted sticks. "We never did that," I said. "That never happened." "I know," Joyce whispered. "That's what scares me." We checked the security camera footage, fast-forwarded through hours of darkness. Nothing. The camera didn't cover the exact spot where the dolls appeared. "I'll move the camera tonight," I said. The next morning, more dolls. This time, the scene made my stomach drop. The parent dolls were in a bedroom made of matchboxes. One sat on the bed, its cloth head split open with red thread spilling out like blood. The other doll stood in a doorway, watching. They'd recreated Joyce's migraine from last week. That happened in our bedroom. Door closed, curtains drawn, at 2 a.m. "How could anyone know about that?" Joyce's voice cracked. "Mom, I want to leave," Abby said, grabbing Joyce's arm. "They've been inside," I said. "Someone's been in our house." I called 911. The officer who came took photos but said without evidence of breaking and entering, there wasn't much they could do. "Change your locks," he suggested. "Keep recording." That night I stayed up watching through the window. At 3 a.m. I saw movement. A small figure darted across our lawn. I ran outside but they vanished. But they left new dolls. This scene was more gross than I could have imagined. The child dolls were arranged in what looked like a classroom. One child doll sat alone, its arms torn off, cotton stuffing pulled out. 3 other dolls surrounded it, their mouths sewn into wide grins, holding the severed cloth arms. "That's Abby's classroom," my son said when we examined it in the morning. "That's her desk in the corner." Abby went pale. "The dolls without arms. That's my spot." "Is someone hurting you at school?" Joyce demanded. "No," Abby said quickly. "Kids are just mean sometimes." We kept Abby home. I called in sick. The next morning brought the worst scene yet. These dolls were different. They had new hair colors. The adult doll with black yarn hair held a real knife blade over a small child doll. The child doll's face had actual human teeth sewn into its mouth. Baby teeth. Real ones. "Those aren't our dolls," Joyce said, backing away. The child doll wore a tiny striped shirt. A red paper backpack lay nearby, meticulously detailed with working zippers made from staples. "Oh God," Abby gasped. "That's Rosie's backpack." "From my class." "Rosie?" Joyce asked. "The new girl. She never talks. She draws during recess instead of playing." My son grabbed Abby's yearbook and flipped through the pages until he found her class photo. "This one?" Abby nodded. "She missed school a lot. When she's there, she has bruises. She told the teacher she falls a lot." I studied the scene again. The knife, the teeth. The adult doll's face had real human hair glued to it. "These aren't just dolls," I said. "She's showing us something." Joyce was already heading for the door. "We're going to the school now." The principal called the counselor immediately. When we described the scenes with the teeth and hair, she picked up her phone. "I'm calling social services," she said, "and the police." 2 days later, we learned Rosie had been removed from her home. They'd found evidence of severe abuse. The teeth were hers. The dolls were her only way to ask for help. "She chose your house because Abby shared lunch with her once," the counselor explained. "She thought you might understand her message."